He's a leading authority on personal and corporate creativity, a Grammy and Dove Award nominee, singer, songwriter, inspirational speaker, CEO of Jonsehn Creative Group. Created the first Bahamian animation characters, Kokomon and the Fruity Tunes. He is also the author of Refuse to Live Talented and Broke, forward by the late Dr. Miles Monroe. Please welcome MEL2016 speaker Delano Johnson.
Y'all feeling creative today? How many of you enjoyed the sessions yesterday? I really enjoyed myself. Wow. So, today I am excited because yesterday I had a lot of questions and I planned something, but I thought that it would be better to actually address the questions. And this number one question resurfaced every time someone came to the speed mentoring tables in the back yesterday. And that question was, how do I become more creative? Now, if you heard me say anything yesterday, you already know that we are all creative people. We are always creating even when we're doing nothing. You are always creating. The problem is, and the challenge is, we have to redefine what creativity is. Creativity is not just your ability to draw. That's a talent. Creativity is not just your ability to sing. And for some reason, we've attributed creativity to the arts exclusively. But this isn't so. As a matter of fact, we usually attribute creativity to the intuitive side or the right side of the brain. Now, I have this question for you. We know that God created the earth, He created the world. And did you think God used any logic in creating the world? Did He? Okay, y'all can say yeah. So it just wasn't the art of creating mountains and streams and all the different species of birds. All the birds are categorized orderly. See, the process of creating means that we bring something into existence, something that's not seen. We bring it into existence. But the part of creating that we do not capitalize on is also creating the systems to maintain that which we created. So the creative process is thinking about a solution, having ideas, formulating those ideas in our mind, bringing it into the known world, right? And then creating a system to maintain it. So the creative process is just not painting a painting that is abstract and hanging it on the wall and say, oh, I'm a creative person, look at me. That's not what creativity is. Otherwise, God would have been the best painter in the world and have a bunch of paintings around for us to look at, which He does, but it's just not that. There's also scientific implications to what He's created. So I want to change your idea of what creativity is. So Einstein said a few things that I really, really liked. And one of them was, you can't solve a problem with the same thinking that got you into it. You can't solve a problem with the same thinking that created it. So what does that mean? What is he saying? What does that imply? It implies that if we're in a box, we can't solve the problem in the box. We have to leave that locale and come into another place to actually find other solutions to bring it back into the box and live. Y'all following me? So the question becomes, what is creativity used for? What is creativity used for? So I'm going to ask you the question. And I want just 2 or 3 hands to go up. And so you tell me, what is creativity used for? Anybody? To solve a problem. I like that. Give me another one. Yes. To do what? Decorate. To decorate. To solve a miscolor or misorganization problem. That's what decoration is. Putting things in order. That's pleasing or aesthetically pleasing to the eye. Yeah? One more. Make something better. I absolutely love that one. Make something better. Well, today I am going to share with you 3 things that makes you more, what's that word? Wow. Gene, I think that's another way to spell creative. Oh, it's a typo. However, we were still able to pronounce the word. You see, there is never just one way to solve a problem. Never. Never, ever one way to solve a problem. So, we have a problem here. The problem is, how many F's do we see in this phrase? I'm going to give you 3 seconds to tell me. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So now, how many F did you see? How many? Who saw 3? Who saw 2? Who saw 6? No one saw 6. There were 6 F's in that phrase. I'll show you it later. Check this out. So we have a box and we have a circle. Now, life is lived in the box. That's where reality exists. So solving a problem suggests, like I said before, to remove ourselves from the thinking of the box. A lot of times people say, oh, you're in a meeting, and particularly in corporate, the boss comes in and he says, oh, we need to solve this problem, but I want you to think. What does that mean? What does thinking outside of the box mean? Well, I'm going to help you out. It means thinking inside of the circle. If he would finish the sentence, then it would give us some more direction as to where to think, because we have to think. Think inside of the circle. I love a circle because a circle is continuous. You could do 90 miles per hour all the way around and never stop. In a square, you have to stop at that 90 degree. So life is just like this. What happens is, we have a purpose, we have a product, we have an idea, we have a service, and we're up. We're going up the left side. But at some point, we have to what? Stop. Because we got to make a decision to turn. So we have to solve a problem. So what do? We think outside of the and inside of the. Now, thinking inside of the circle is simply this: allowing ourselves to see what could be as opposed to what exists. That's one of the first things we could do in terms of being creative. So, the first one was thinking outside of the box. That's the first thing you can do. But just not thinking outside of the box, it is thinking inside of the circle. So I want you to remember this. Anytime someone says to you, you have to think outside of the box for this solution, I want you to finish that sentence by saying, and think inside of the circle. So, stop seeing problems with your eyes. See it with your mind. See the possibilities of what could be. Most people remain who they have become as opposed to becoming who they really are, simply because they keep looking at the history of their past. If you are going to lead or emerge, because to me, leadership, as a matter of fact, you know, I've struggled with a few words. Leadership is one of them. Love is another one. Creativity is something else. And then success, that's a whole nother issue all by itself. But I figured out this leadership thing, because I like to make things simple. As complex as I can be, I like simplicity. Design works when it's simple. So a leader to me is simply this, and you can write this down. A leader to me in the creative universe is simply someone who knows what to do when no one else does. Someone who knows what to do when no one else does. If you add a brick, a wall, no one else knows how to get over, and somebody says, oh, I know a way. Actually, let's just walk 40 miles and just, the wall is only 40 miles. Let's just walk 40 miles and turn and go up and go. That person would automatically become the what? Now, there's other characteristics he would have to have in place in order to maintain leadership. That's a different question. But creative leadership in the creative universe is simply someone who knows what to do when no one else does. Stop seeing with your eyes and see with your mind. So, I want you to do this for me, small little exercise. I want you to look at the person on the side of you, and I want you to figure out 3 ways to say to them that you look great today. Some of y'all struggling. Yeah, you're supposed to say, you got to say it. You got to tell them. Turn to them and say, hey, you look great today. Okay. All right, so what's some of the ways that, oh, matter of fact, what's the first thing that came to your mind in the exercise? You turned to them, and what was the first thing that fizzed up in your mind? Okay. You're a therapist. You disqualified. Huh?
Before you ask the question or
After?
So the first thing, like my first creative way to tell them
Yeah.
was just to look them up and down and like shake my head up and down.
I love that. Well, see, you creative already. I'm not talking to you. Give me somebody else. What was your first impulsive answer? Question. Yeah, based on what I said. What was the first thing that came into your mind in terms of commenting them? Telling them that they look good. What was the words that you said? Oh, they look vibrant? Good, that's another way. All right. From over here. You look lovely. Good. Okay.
You look great today.
My nemesis. Yeah, we're going to have an interesting conversation after this. The challenge with life is that we become complacent. We take the road that is much traveled. We look at life as a template. In corporate, there is this idea that let's not reinvent the wheel. Let's look at the competitor, see what he's doing, and just make it red instead of blue. And then we're different. Is it solving the problem? Do they get some attention temporarily? Red in a situation evokes a different emotion from the human psyche than blue does. So they may have some attention, they may drive sales for a while, but were they really creative? That's the question to answer. The problem with corporate America or the business environment, because we're so driven for sales and driven for results, is that we forget to actually schedule time for creativity. And what do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? I simply mean this. In assessing a task, we consider the time or the impact on time. We consider the dollar per man hours. We consider resources. We may even put 10% for unforeseeables within that idea. But we never schedule time for creativity. You know, in my business, I have to schedule time for creativity because that's what that's the commodity that I sell. You're not coming to me because you're looking for a widget. You're coming to me because I'm tired of using widgets and I need something that will capture the emotion of my demographics. I need the psychology of selling. So you need someone who understands that red increases blood flow, which also increases impulse buying. So you wonder why the word sale is always in red. There's a method behind the madness. So, if you do those three things very short, you will begin to increase your creative abilities that is already innate. It's already there. You're just going to wake up that creative genius within you. And that is my passion, to help individuals create in them their own creative space. I've applied creativity in almost every area of my life, and it became a situation where I realized this was one of the words that would become a theme in my life. Because when I was a kid, everyone would always say, "Oh, you're the most creative person I knew. If I had your talent, boy, I would be rich." Easy said and done. So I applied some creativity to my ability to communicate, and it came out as singing. I applied some more creativity to my ability to create, and all of a sudden I became a songwriter. Because of that, I was nominated for a Grammy Award. Me and those same three guys up there, along with Dr. Miles Monroe and our background singer, Rashay. We were nominated for Grammy. Also nominated for a Dove Award. Creativity. Creativity helped me and pushed me towards a specific industry in the music. I got a chance to meet some of my heroes in the business. This is a picture with us and Smokey Robinson. Oh boy, I look really young over there. Smokey Robinson. I remember the story with Smokey Robinson. We were in the studio recording the song. It was a song from Motown that we recorded. And Smokey Robinson came into the studio and we were there and we were recording. And so he came, parked up in front of the studio in this baby blue Rolls Royce. He came in, the guys went out, they got him, just A-class treatment. He came into the studio and they were like, "Oh, Smokey's here, you guys got to hurry up and record." So we were like, "Well, you gave everybody else, a couple hours to do what they do." And so Smokey came in. Smokey had 2 lines. 2 lines. He took the whole day to record. We went in there and we recorded. We had to write and record. And we recorded and wrote the parts in our song, for which that's the song that we actually got nominated for a Grammy for, in less than 5 minutes. Bam, boom, and we was out of there. And Smokey looked at us and said, "Boy, I remember when I used to be that creative." Interesting. He remembered when he used to be that creative. In other words, he equated our ability for speed and accuracy with creativity. Creativity is not just drawing. There are a lot of things that I applied creativity to. Creativity can also be applied to relationships. Now, I talked about your story, and there are parts of your story that's painful. Your personal story. There's parts of your story that you probably don't feel comfortable talking about. There's parts of your story that you would never ever say to anyone. But I'm going to encourage you today. The parts of your story that's the most powerful are the ones that you are afraid to tell. I didn't apply creativity as I should have to my first marriage. This is my ex-wife and our 3 beautiful kids, Jonathan, David, and Diamond. I wished I had applied creativity the way I did it in solving problems for my clients. I have a reputation of doing one-offs. In other words, a client says, I need this. I go and I spend and I do my creative mumbo-jumbo, and I just design exactly what they need. No bunch of comps. Just, this is what you need. I'm the professional. This is exactly what you need. It'll work. It'll move the market to action. I wish I had done that with some communication issues. Babe, no, this is exactly what we need to do. I've gone in there, created one time. This is exactly the solution that we need. But I can still salvage. I can still salvage. See, these 3 little critters is the reason why I wake up in the morning. It's the reason why I use every ounce of creativity to make sure that they know who they are. They know why they're here. And most importantly, they know creatively what they can do. I'm so thankful to God for the opportunity to be a creative dad. That's what my kids call me. My son, my oldest, Jonathan, he's starting to apply his creativity. In 2015, he actually won the McDonald's Gospel Fest stepping team. He has a step team, dancers, and they won. Out of 10,000 people, he won. They performed before 20,000 people. Not only that, he's here being pictured with the Disney Award, the Disney Dream Achiever. Steve Harvey and Essence Magazine teamed up with Walt Disney and Disney World, and they created something called the Dreamers Academy. And it's simple. They send out letters, and kids all over the world, they write in an essay on how they would change the world. He was chosen out of 100 kids to go. So they send 100 kids down, and from that, their peers choose one kid to represent everyone as the Disney Dreamer of the Year. So he won. And he came to me after this, and he was pictured, and him and Steve Harvey took a picture, and he said, Dad, thanks for helping me embrace my creativity. You see, for me, that's all the creativity I need. Creativity to help my kids solve their problems. My kids was around when I created this. I talked about this yesterday. It's another child. This is my 4th child. It's Kokoman. This is the animation series that I came up with when I went to Disney World. And my mother said to me, create the characters if you don't see them. And that's exactly what I did. Creativity is all around us. We have the awesome ability to make something different. Today, I want you to think outside of the box and think inside of the... I want you to see with your mind and not with your... If you do that, I promise you this. You will join the ranks of all of us who will be considered creative giants. Today, I see something in you. I see a creative giant, and he's waiting to come out. And my question to you today is, what will you do. Thank you very much.